A sudden detour 27 years ago led this man of God to becoming a permanent fixture in the Charleston community. And in this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, Brother Dallas Wilson talks to me about the spring day 1984 when God changed his life. Well, Brother Dallas, I know that you have been out of the spotlight for a while now. So tell me, how are you?
I'm well.
Yes.
I'm well. Spotlight is not really tangible for the things that we want to get accomplished.
Yes.
Yeah,
That is awesome. Well, take me back to 1984. I understand that you were traveling from Georgetown to Savannah for a speech. And you actually pulled over to the side of the road on the bridge. Talk to me about that.
Well, I'm not a mystical kind of person, but it was one time in my life the Lord spoke to us about a very serious adventure that he was about to have us travel. Of course, being temporal, we don't really know the beginning from the end. And that conversation with the Lord led to where we are now in this interview and 25 years since that. So we're very excited that we've heard the voice of God during the pulling off of the road, and that we're now in a place that we can make tangible effects on people's lives in this community.
And that happened twice to you.
Oh, yes. Yes. And the Lord is a God of second chances. He gave me a second and a third chance to hear his voice. Because we heard it then and still did not want to, from a point of recompense, to move into a place that was a little bit against what it is that God had set up for us initially. But we're glad again that we listened.
That is awesome. I understand that you're from New York.
I am.
So tell me, what led you to the South?
Well, the Lord.
Yes.
The Lord led us here to build churches, to build people's lives, to put intrinsic value in people. To build up certain areas of leadership in this place, which we've done, I think, over, again, a period of the last 25, 26 years, which we've been very instrumental in making sure that people in churches were in a place where they were recognizable.
Yes.
That they were able to get some of the areas of estrangement which the church has been going through for periods of time off of our backs.
Wow. I read that initially you were a Muslim, but you converted to Christianity.
Well, I don't really want to talk too much about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Well, let's go forward. I know after being here for so long, you're now a Charleston fixture.
That's kind. I probably will never be a Charleston fixture, but I will be in Charleston for the rest of my life. My wife and I brought tombstones here, so we plan to be here for at least until Jesus comes.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk about the time when, you created Midnight Basketball. And, I understand, I actually lived on Egan Street. And my brothers and I would always sit out there in the window and watch the game every night. Tell me, why did you bring Midnight Basketball to Charleston?
Well, I think what Charleston needed more than anything in the world was a positive influence out of the inner cities and not the negative forecasting that we had been receiving for years. I think there are more asset value on the east side of Charleston than people give credit for.
Yes.
Midnight Basketball was a tool of, I really want to take credit for it, but I won't. There are two people that were very instrumentally involved in that, Boom Bam and Johnny, are both gone. They're both home with the Lord, and both said to me that they needed something more positive on the east side.
Yes.
We needed something that had more value on the east side. And they said, well, Brother Dallas, we'll task you to do that. Yeah. So I think that there are people that are hidden in the background, like Earl Brown, who was very instrumental in Midnight Basketball. There are a bunch of people that were involved. I got a lot of the credit because, as you said earlier, we were more visible.
Yes.
But there are a lot of people that were involved. Midnight Basketball has helped some 250 kids get to the best prep schools in the country. Most kids graduated from Division I schools that played Midnight Basketball with us, that were able to do some of the other things that we asked them to do. The Jamel Presidents, the Melvin, Melvin Watsons, and there are others, that we're really very, very proud of. In fact, I want to say this. There's a young man that I really wish you would interview when he comes. His name is Kevin Green, Tevon Green. And Tevon is one of the most powerful kids that has come out of this area. He owns his own companies now. He's on the board of visitors at the Citadel. He is on their foundation board. And so I'm very proud of this kid. This kid has done with the opportunities that we've given him all that I hope others would do.
Yes.
And I think he's going to make a tremendous impact, not on just this community, but on the Southeast.
You know, you met your wife, Janie, from what I understand. She came to one of your churches through a recommendation of one of the co-workers.
Wow, you have a lot of information on me.
I've done research.
Oh, my God. Yeah, my wife and I don't want to talk too much about that either because she's very private in that regard. Sure. But Janie is probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I don't think that there are two other things that are more valuable on earth than she is to me. And thank God again for her. Like I said, he's a God of second, third, fourth, and fifth chances.
Yes.
So he made that available. And of course, we have been happily married for 17 years. And we're just really very, 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 very blessed.
That's awesome. You know, I heard that you wanted to live someplace else where I like the place to go sometimes, and that's Savannah.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me about Savannah.
Well, Savannah is an awesome place. I've got another good friend who has a church there. His name is Douglas Smith, and it's called the Soul Saving Station Church of Savannah, and you might want to interview him sometime. He's a very powerful person. Well, Savannah is a replica of Charleston. It has the same demographics, the same type of nuances. It's a really wonderful place to visit. My wife and I take very serious opportunities at times to disappear and just go and ride the city. And in fact, we were there recently and just talk to people and share with people about how fortunate they are to live in such a place, you know. But I think, again, I love Savannah, but I think God gave us the best choice in Charleston.
Yes, indeed. Well, describe to me the following in one word.
Okay.
New York.
Learning.
Charleston.
Traditional learning.
Agape Ministries.
An awesome influence.
Reverend Dallas Wilson.
Fortunate.
Well, you know, we know that you have a love for preaching and love for God. But what is something else that people don't know about you?
Well, I love to read. And that's a good question. That's an imposing question.
I appreciate it.
Because I really don't like to talk about Brother Dallas.
I understand.
I would think the most important thing that people need to know about me is that I'm a mama's boy.
Is that right?
I loved my mother. I absolutely adored her, and the things that are in my life for the last 70 years, she's instilled in me, and I'm really very excited about that. That's what people don't know. I'm a mama's boy.
Okay. Well, when you look into your crystal ball, what do you see in your future?
I don't look into a crystal ball. I look into God's heart.
That's right. That's right.
And what I see in my future is me making heaven.
That is awesome. You will. You will. Well, Brother Dallas Wilson, it's so good talking to you.
You're a wonderful man, and thank you for your persistence.
Yeah, I'm all over once.
You are wonderful. You want to think about coming to St. John's so you and I can do some more talking.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time.
Anytime.
God bless you.
Likewise.